We are staying in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, going now to Jackie Coppell, political commentator and satirist. Check her out at newsynews.tv. Jackie, we heard about some of the protests. We've been talking a little bit about the delegate walkout. And talk to me about your sense of this. I mean, is there a consensus as to exactly how important these protests and walkouts have been, or do different people have a different sense of the size and scope?
People have really different sense of the size and scope. And it all comes down to vested interest, right? So some people are claiming these protests, are massive and that there are, potential clashes. But that hasn't, as far as I'm aware, that actually hasn't necessarily happened. The difference between the RNC and the DNC is the RNC felt really militarized. Just everywhere you went, there were cops lined up, intimidatingly. Although they were very nice, I do want to say they were lovely. But rows and rows of police, whether it's officers or literal troopers, sort of running around the city. It was interesting to experience what it was probably like under a military occupation and what it would feel like. It doesn't feel that way in Philly at all, right? There are certainly cops around and cops in groups and folks are there, but it's just not the same, it's just not the same intensity. And it feels like the cops are allowing people to express themselves in whatever way, shape, or form they want to. And by and large, I think it's been pretty peaceful.
Yesterday, Bill Clinton's speech, I thought, was very, very good, although, currently he doesn't have the exact same level of energy as he did 15 or 20 years ago. What's your sense of what speeches were particularly well received or not so well received?
Sure. Oh, sorry, one other thing I wanted to say about the protest. The sit-in, there's a lot of mixed messaging on the sit-in, too, or the sit-ins that have happened. Some people are saying it was, over 100 delegates walked out. And then I spoke to someone who was in the media center and he was like, yeah, it was like 30 people. So, and not all of them were necessarily delegates. So again, it's a little unclear, the numbers. And, I think for people who want the protests to seem, bigger, obviously they want those numbers to be reported bigger. And those who don't want them to seem as big probably are diminishing the numbers. So it is honestly really tough to get a really clear picture of what is actually happening. But I will say the general feeling in the Wells Fargo Center is one of positivity. And I think everyone inside feels like they are, at least to me, feels like they are extremely respectful and appreciative of what Senator Sanders has done, and a real sense of, he did something great, and now let's go defeat Donald Trump. And we've made history. A lot of positive themes actually are what is felt on the ground. And I think a lot of that is not necessarily reported, that there is it feels like quite a lot of coming together overall. In terms of Bill Clinton's speech, I think people loved it. I think generally speaking, we didn't know what to expect. And it was a speech defending his wife and their story together and their history. And I think, generally speaking, it seems like it was very well received. Certainly in the hall, you sort of couldn't hear a pin drop. And that was really, I think it was very moving for people in general. Certainly he's not the same as he was 15, 20 years ago, but, he's older. He's not going to be the same as he was 15, 20 years ago. Without question, it's going to be different. So, I thought he did a great job, and I think overall, generally speaking, people felt that he did a pretty great job. So I think that, I think he helped his wife. We'll see how much, but a lot of people say it really helped. The humanizing factor was very helpful.
Well, who among us is the same as we were 15 to 20 years ago? Not me, that's for sure.
Well, that is true. We were barely above diapers, so
Jackie Coppell checking in from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the DNC. Thanks, Jackie.
Thanks so much. It's always a pleasure. I look forward to it tomorrow.